pretty quickly.
Hello, and welcome everybody to Unscripted Intelligence, a podcast where we talk about human intelligence, artificial intelligence, how they intersect, and how they impact everything from education to the workforce.
On this podcast, we interview innovators, change makers, and thought leaders who are shaking things up and making waves. These conversations are unfiltered and uncharted as we make space for what isn't being discussed. And these conversations are always
Unavoidable.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Ament, the co-president of the Human Intelligence Movement and chief academic officer for ProSolve. The Human Intelligence Movement is a grassroots community dedicated to ensuring that all humans have the uniquely human intelligences they need to succeed and thrive in our AI world. It's great to be here with everyone.
My name is Arvin Ross, the co-founder of ProSolve, a company that is dedicated to building the human skills that students need in an AI-driven world. I'm also your adaptability enthusiast. I'm super stoked to be here and to be hosting this podcast. Thank you guys for joining these live conversations. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Yo.
Hey, look at us.
We're live together. This is not AI. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Intelligence. Today is a very special day because Michelle and I are live here at the Leadhership Conference in DC. And so this is our first live recording together in person.
Absolutely. It's not even a recording. It's a live stream. Look at us. Look at us right now.
What's
we are live from, where are we? Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., correct.
And what a conference this has been. Not only is the conference amazing, but it has been amazing to be in person with you, Arvin, and talking to so many leaders. Now, this is the Leadhership Conference, and it's a network of women coming together to share their bold ideas, their stories, and really empower each other as female leaders in education and the workforce. We have talked to so many people. I feel a little bit like I've been in therapy for the last 24 hours. I mean, no joke.
Thanks.
And some of that is just what you bring to the table, Arvin.
It's been awesome. I mean, I feel like we've met so many powerhouses. Just even last night at the cocktail hour or the happy hour.
There were cocktails and there was happiness. So,
yes, that is facts.
Mm-hmm.
We got to just interview just spontaneously random women who are all in leadership roles and leadership positions, and just kind of asking them to share some of their unavoidable or unfiltered truths. Some of them sharing kind of some of the things that they want to or need to see redesigned and rebuilt. And I feel like we're already inundated with so much information, content, and just thought leadership that I don't know how we're going to kind of parse this out over the next couple of weeks. One of the things that I think we might want to do just for the audience, right? We've kind of talked about the Leadhership Conference, the idea, but can you give some more context to the type of women that are here, maybe some of the positions that they hold, and why kind of this conference is relevant and even on our radar for that matter?
Yeah, so the Leadhership Network really brings together both teachers, administrators, superintendents, anyone in a leadership role that is in education. And we just talked with Amy Dujan, who is really the visionary, who has put this network together. And her whole approach really is bringing other organizations or other women networks together at one big conference. She talks about it being the glue.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this a little bit, and I certainly have been thinking a lot about what is the human edge that women especially bring to the intelligence age.
Yeah.
And so this conference has immersed me in this idea around those human skills or those human intelligences that women uniquely have, and then how are those elevated and really used in the intelligence age? One of the things I think about this conference is that they're really focused on rewriting the rules.
Yeah.
And we've been talking to people about what are the rules that have to be rewritten. And I think I would love to unpack with you the interview we just came off with Amy. Do you want to tell people what she said was sort of the rule that she feels like needs to be rewritten?
I'm gonna attempt to remember all of it because I feel like my brain just shut down because it was so just like overload. But let me take a step back and say this. What I love about this particular conference is one of those themes being rewriting the rules fit really, really well with our current series we're in for rebuilding and redesigning. And so there was just a really nice synergy with all of the women that we're talking to, that as they're considering this thought of rewriting rules, it was very easy for us to come in and say what needs to be rebuilt or redesigned in order to fit the rewriting of some of these rules. And so there's been really good connection points there. We've seen a lot of synergy with that. The thing about Amy that in this last interview that really just kind of blew my mind. I mean, for one, just her whole idea of bringing people together and then not trying to compete with other leadership networks or the type of women-centered networks was phenomenal. And this idea that she's not trying to compete, this conference is not trying to compete. It's the goal is actually to just create a network so that other people can go out and recreate this in their own communities.
And I think that's so important because when we think about leadership in school districts, there's only so many seats at the table and they're predominantly filled by men. I mean, there is a percentage that I think it's like 8, I can't get the percentage, so I'm not even gonna try. A high percentage of superintendents are held by males. And so there's coveted seats at the table. And I think one of the things that's important in Amy's philosophy is that it's not about competition. It's about pulling up that chair to the seat at the table and being part of the community versus trying to compete. And that is like, there's a lot of women's networks and there's only so much time that women can get away from work and to go to conferences. And so to hear that there isn't that competition is important. So we've got a question or a comment. This is so
Chelsea,
exciting. Hi, Chelsea.
We love you. We wish you were here too. We have a third seat right behind us. If you
can you even imagine the conversation?
If you can make it here in the next 30 minutes, we will totally pull up a chair for you all the way out in Georgia. But back to what you were saying about Amy. God, my mind is blanking for the exact phrase.
Okay, I've got it for you. Ready?
Okay.
So what she said, one of the rules of leadership that needs to be rewritten is to stop rescuing
There it is,
and
robbing
people of rescuing them by, as a leader, coming in and doing everything for them and feeling like I'm a good leader because I can rescue you and not allow you to fail. And then robbing of the opportunity to discover, to chart your own path, to use your talent. And as a leader, by saying it has to be done this way, it has to be follow my guidance, it robs people of sharing their talents. So that rescuing and robbing. And I feel like we've talked a lot about that just in the last 3 years since I've known you, and then even today. And I want to hear what your thoughts are on that. And then I also want to ask our audience, our viewers, what are rules that they think need to be rewritten for an intelligence age? So we'll maybe start to see some of those come in.
I love tossing that out to the audience. Back to what Amy was saying, I couldn't think of the verbiage, but rescue and robbing is exactly what she said. And to me, what the conversation really, I'm just going to close up. What the conversation really kind of captured is this idea that our view of leadership has been that as a leader, we're supposed to come in and rescue them. And we don't ever consider what we're robbing them from while we're rescuing them. Right. And so it's not just a matter of rescue. So rescuing and robbing, they're not two separate instances.
No, it's not
they're
either
not
or.
Separating.
No,
they're not separated. They're not mutually exclusive. It's actually happening
spontaneously. But because can I get the mic?
Yeah.
But what's happening is that while we are rescuing, we're actually robbing, and we don't consider what we're robbing them from. In fact, there's no structure. There's no support. There's not even any sort of and you can let me know if this mic position is still good. There's not even support structures or information, wisdom, and leadership around what are we robbing people from whenever we rescue them from whatever situation, right? We talked about how that leadership is birthed in crisis, that the ability to lead well and to be able to exude a power and authority is not something that's given from a position, but it's earned from trials and tribulation. And it's like, if we really truly think about it, anytime that we have rescued someone from a situation, and we've come in and we've swooped in, my wife likes to call it the Captain Save-A-Ho complex. I don't know if I can say that online. Is that terrible? Okay, let's go ahead and bleep that out. But the night
We're live. Did you just get us canceled?
I think maybe did I get us canceled? I don't know. Well, that's not my fault. That's my wife's fault.
Right.
She's the one who says that. But I've heard it also called the Knight in Shining Armor complex, and it's like, if I can come in and rescue you, I don't even consider what you would have gotten, what you would have received, what you would have developed, what you would have grown into had I not rescued from that. And let me say this: it's not a matter of like, it's not to say that you be hands off, but it's how can you allow your helping to be something that cultivates and develops efficacy, as opposed to neutering and hindering the person in the long run.
I can't believe you just said neutering.
What can I not say that either?
No, you can. It just like threw me.
Help me, Jenna. Am I getting us canceled, guys?
No, it's okay. So I had this really great thing that I was like, you were building this momentum, and I was going somewhere, and then you were like, and we're gonna neuter. And
we're unscripted, y'all. I'm just saying what's coming to my mind.
No, it's all good. Okay, but here's you're talking about leadership, and really, what are we robbing from people? What are we taking away? But what the other thing that we started to talk about is, yes, in leadership, but that is the same thing we are doing in the classroom for students. And so when we think about how are we rescuing students? How are we rescuing learners from productive struggle? How are we rescuing them from taking risks and trying things? How are we rescuing them from curiosity because we present all the information? And I think about as our redesign and rebuild, that idea of limiting the amount that we are rescuing and allowing for some of those skills to evolve and emerge and thrive. It really was mind-blowing.
I mean, let's talk about it practically, right? We have the concept, the idea, the thought process, but can you give us some practical examples as a leader of some tools or some mentality, some ideas? How can not ideas, some practical tools that we can utilize when we feel that knight in shining armor complex starting to rise up? What's the first thing that you should do as a leader when you feel that start to happen to you?
Well, I think something that is coming up for me is that I think it starts with really being crystal clear about your end destination of where you want to go at your team, your organization. And when you can paint that picture and be really, really clear of the end destination and the vision that you have, that creates clarity for everyone in the organization. And then as a leader, being able to step back and know that this person's path towards that or this person's path towards that is the right way. You don't have to dictate that. You don't have to give direction on that, because you put your energy in creating that end destination. And so I think that is a tool or strategy. I don't know if when you feel like you're the knight in shining armor, it might be a reflection on, did I get the end destination right? And is the organization really, really clear on that, so that I can let go and let people be their best selves and bring their talents forward.
Right, because even as we're talking about this, it's we have a question.
What's wrong?
Technical difficulties.
That's what happens when you live
I know.
stream live, like
I know.
really live.
I know. I don't even remember what I was
I don't
saying.
even remember what we were talking about.
I believe it was.
Oh, the end destination,
okay.
and then like as strategies for leaders when you feel that, like, and I also think, and Amy brought this up, but I think another thing as leaders we have to be comfortable with is that I know, like, I have in my head how I would do it, and not believe that that is the only way or the right way. And there's risk in that, and that risk comes with trusting the people that you've hired and the people that you are leading, that they will get it right, even if it isn't the way you would have done it.
And I think to your point, let me pause that. We have a question or thought. I think it's interesting in this topic that we use AI to give us the answer and remove the struggle. I see some of my own skills diminishing in real time while I rely on AI more and more.
Okay, we have to talk about that, because that yesterday I was trying to articulate this new idea that's surfacing that Luke's bringing up, and that is the hidden curriculum in AI. And that hidden learning behind AI. You see where I'm going? But I think there is something around what is AI doing to us. So there's lots of studies, it's diminishing critical thinking. Okay, whether you believe that or not, whatever. But there are a couple of things, like the output is always right. You can always, well, I shouldn't say the output's always right. It's always giving you an answer, right? And it also is immediate, like immediate gratification, immediate. And then that part around it always thinks you're so smart, and that, you know, it's always so self-proclaiming, and it's never giving me critical feedback on what I'm thinking or working on. It's always affirming what I'm doing. Those are a couple. So the positive affirmation, I think, is dangerous. The quick response, the instant answer, I think, is dangerous. And I also think that that confidence that it brings in the right answer is dangerous. And I'm curious what you think. I'm curious what Luke thinks might be some of the things that it's diminishing for him.
Yeah, Luke, if you're still watching, if you could share, maybe some of the skills and some of the things that you have seen or that you've seen diminishing, feel free to comment that, and we'll toss it up there as well. For me, what I think is important to recognize is, I feel like there's a double-edged sword to even that comment, because I can see people, however many years ago, how many decades ago, saying, "Oh, since I've been using a computer, my ability to write with pencils has been diminishing." You know what I mean? It's the exact same argument, and I feel like, especially us, ProSolve starting out this whole mobile device craze, and us having a huge amount of our history and a huge amount of our success being implementing that. We've heard those arguments time and time again. So I oftentimes feel like, while that may be true, but I think while it may be true that some of the skills are diminishing, that may not automatically equate to a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm not even about the skills that are diminishing. I'm talking about the skills the things we're reinforcing.
Okay.
So I'm a little, like, if you think about social media and what we have reinforced with that quick dopamine hit, this feeling like everybody lives a perfect life.
100%.
Like, what are the things that social media did to us societally that AI will start to do? And I'm curious what Steve's saying. Can you read it?
Yeah, Steve is saying, here's an update for what the whole tree in the woods idiom. If we have AI write emails and AI read emails, then does email even exist anymore? Dang.
That's some deep thoughts by Steve.
Thanks. My first response is yes, it still exists. It just doesn't exist in a way that we care about anymore. Do the skills that Luke is losing or that anyone's utilizing AI, do those skills still exist? Yes, but they may be less relevant.
Okay, but what about that things that it is building in you? So I'm less worried about the skill. Like, I get it. Like, we don't have great handwriting now. Maybe that's an outdated skill, or
we can, we don't have to memorize multiplication because we have a calculator. But
Yeah.
what about the fact that every time I use AI, it tells me, Michelle, that's a really great idea? Or
Yeah.
like, what
yeah,
about
yeah.
that? What could we be building and creating in society that we have to really be thinking about? How do we reclaim humanity? And what does,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'll say this. I feel pretty strongly about this, that based on what you're saying, I can see some of the hidden learning in utilizing AI consistently being this idea that everything you do is great. You know, having a feedback loop
Mhm.
where there's not genuine criticism or genuine growth-oriented responses. Um, I can see that exacerbating the issue of people being less resilient and being less likely to have difficult conversations
Right.
and become uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You know me, that's one of my biggest trigger points in our generation today is people that just can't have tough conversations, or people that just shy back when it comes to, like, it's okay for us to think differently. It's okay
Mhm.
for me to disagree with you. You know, it's great that your mom loves your little, you know, drawing that you made, but your drawing actually sucks, and that's okay. It's trash. That's, you know, I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with that. You know, but when you want, if you as a parent tell your kid everyone thinks your drawing is awesome, you know, that creates this difficulty for them to receive when someone else doesn't think it's awesome, right? And so I can see the use of AI continuing to exacerbate that dynamic,
Mhm.
which I think is already inflated and already problematic with where we live right now. So I'll say this: I think there's a good conversation here, but I don't even know that it's the most important conversation for me right now. I think the
Okay.
most important conversation
Yeah, what is it?
like you said, what's the end goal?
Mhm.
What is the end goal? Is the end goal that I get all the answers I want quickly, right?
Mhm.
Even as a leader in a company, is the end goal that our employees all accomplish what needs to be accomplished in 2 months, in 1 month? Or is it that we're building people that this problem took them 3 months to solve,
Mhm.
but the next time we encounter a problem like that, it's going to take them less than that. It's going to take
Mhm.
them less. Is the end goal that we can accomplish our targets, you know, on time or ahead of time, or is the end goal that we're building people that can think about targets that we're not thinking about?
It's both. It's both.
Yeah.
I think it can't be one or the other. I mean, a company
Yeah.
survives and thrives on meeting metrics and goals.
Yes.
And at the same time, it does that through high performing teams
Yes.
that continue to grow and evolve. So an ultimate leader of an organization would be doing both at the same time. And I think that's super challenging in today's world.
It's definitely challenging because I want to push back on you a little bit, but it's like I know what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
I see the more important, and I'm not saying I'm 100% correct this, but I feel that I would rather have a team. God, even as I'm saying this, I'm kind of feeling this resistance in me.
Mhm.
I see it as important to have individuals who are growing in problem solving and growing in their ability to think critically. Um, and if I can help create conditions and create an environment where that's happening, I see the long-term success of that, I guess is what I'm saying. And in my mind, I'm thinking long-term success for the company is to help develop and create individuals that are bought in to the mission, to the vision, you know, to the end goals, but are able to operate with agility, and are able to pivot quickly. And I don't know, I feel like if I'm up at the top saying this needs to be done in this time frame, no matter what, get it done, you know, versus it being a conversation and saying, hey, this is the goal, but you're going to be on the grounds or in the weeds, you know, navigating through some of it. Let's have a conversation about it and talk about the challenges, talk about some of the obstacles. I don't know, it feels like that's a more successful for the long term.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing you talk about how do you make both happen. Like there's top-down hierarchy approaches, and then there is creating conditions, like setting the vision, setting the end destination, the parameters, and then helping remove roadblocks, support people through that. And I hear you talking a little bit about that. I mean, a company doesn't exist to just make great employees.
Yes, yes.
As much
that's
as you
it.
want it to be, Arvin, like
Yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, like,
That's why we need Travis's and yous.
well, and you speak to a team, right? Because that, like, your work is about how do we grow
Yeah.
people, how do we make culture that people can be their best selves in. Travis's role is to set a vision for a company to thrive and produce revenue
Yeah.
goals and so on. So
Love it.
I don't know what my job is.
Your job is to make everything credible, to make everything make sense, and to uncover like what the goals should actually be,
Yeah,
not just
maybe.
what we imagine it
Right,
should be.
right. Well, we're almost at a half an hour.
What?
I can't even believe it. And we haven't, like, I really wanted to kind of surface the multi-generational talk because that has come up
Yeah.
so many times. So we can go over a little bit. I mean, is
Yeah.
anybody hanging on with us, Jenna? All right. So let's talk about that because that has come up. I don't know if that's just you and I.
Maybe it's because they look at us and they're like, "How does this work?"
Maybe because, yeah, it continues to kind of be like something that we talk about with people and among ourselves. So
Why don't we do this? This could be offensive. Okay, no, let's just reverse it, then it won't be offensive. All right, okay. You guys should see our producer's face right now. She's over me. She's ready to kick me out of here. Why don't we just reverse it this way, and then it won't be offensive? Can you talk about what you feel like your generation values in the workplace, and then I'll talk about what I feel like my generation values in the workplace, and then we can kind of, because what I was gonna say is me talk about what I think yours does, and you vice versa, and that's gonna be accusatory and offensive and all the things. But I think, can you start with what you feel like, what you believe?
well, I think about, my generation is the Gen X generation. Yesterday I was calling myself Gen Z all afternoon. So wait till that episode.
People were like, "That's interesting." Who's gonna tell us?
So I think as leaders, it's always been about being the smartest in the room.
Yes.
That was the whole trajectory is, being a leader means equipping your team with the information they need. They look to you for certainty, they trust you because you know information, and showing up with that has always been part of that generation. I think wanting to be right and get and not even, I'm trying to articulate, there's the be right, but then there's also get it right.
Yeah.
Okay. And they kind of go together, but they're also a little bit separate. Like, I want to know all the information before I make a move because I don't want to get it wrong. And I think for me personally, as a woman in leadership, at it in a cabinet level role, I've talked a little bit about there's only so many seats at that table. And you better believe if I screw up, I'm losing my seat at the table. So I better know everything and have my path, my strategy articulated and know that it's going to be successful. Otherwise, I can be replaced because there's a lot of people lined up to do that. And I think for me personally, in my leadership, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've made some mistakes that cost me opportunities that weren't forgiven because you tried something, you took a risk, you failed, it'll be okay. It was you are no longer part of the organization. And so I think that there has been this protectiveness to be that perfect leader. And I think like I said, some of this has been like 24 hours of therapy for me. But I hear that from other women my age in this space around what they're having to unlearn right now.
I'd say that from the outside, I can definitely see that. And just to be transparent, that dynamic creates such an exclusionary environment, where someone like me, and I guess I'm a millennial, is that correct? Comes into environments like that and really, really, really just doesn't feel good. It just feels very intense and aggressive and just like, I don't know if that is the proper way to say that. But to me,
Mhm.
when I'm in spaces like that,
It is
it
your,
feels
I
that way.
mean, it may not be the proper, I don't know if there's a proper way, it's how you feel.
Yeah. So I can definitely.
I
say
mean,
from
I
it-
have a little bit of shame right now that it's felt like aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, well, we've had our differences. Y'all don't know. Michelle and I have come a long, long way. I love you, Michelle.
I know.
I really do.
Well, and I can only imagine, like, as I exited a school district into a role to be your manager.
Yeah, right. It's literally what a bad idea.
Terrible.
What a bad idea.
Because I had, one way of leading, and one of the things that is also fascinating to me is I didn't lead millennials. Okay,
Yeah.
so millennials were teachers in the classroom, and my day-to-day work
Yeah.
was people in my own generation. So it's interesting to think about, and I think one of the things that I'm curious what Chelsea has to say, but one of the things that I just want to an aha yesterday was around how one of the things yesterday was around this idea that we talked to Denise, who coaches.
Love her.
who
Y'all
co-
wait for that episode to come out.
Yeah, who coaches Gen Z and boomers, no, Gen X and boomers
Yes,
on
yeah.
how to work with millennials. And one of the things I thought about is how millennials need coaching to
for sure.
work with
For sure.
older generations. And so
absolutely.
that was like a big aha to me. So
Yeah, one of the things I'll point out, Chelsea just commented when you were talking about kind of your the background you're coming from and that kind of perspective is that it doesn't support being adaptable at all. And I think that's partly why I feel so much tension is because yeah, and so I really think you're spot on with that.
Hold on, what? Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll start to wrap it up. Okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and answer from my perspective. I think our generation, millennials, we have a higher value set on actively solving problems as opposed to coming in knowing everything or knowing the answer to the problem. I think we have a mindset of I want you to figure out the problem that I don't even see as a problem yet. I want you to be able to adjust, pivot, and be flexible enough to see the things that I cannot see. Not just from what you've been taught with a degree, but I want to take new territory, right? I want a company, a team, a group that is going to take new ground, that is going to pioneer and trailblaze new things. And the places that I want to go, the places that our generation want to go, there's not a map for. You didn't get a degree. You can't get a degree for the places that my generation wants to go. And so why would I put value on getting information and knowing all the right things that's not even going to take us to where it is that I want to go? I don't know where I want to go yet. So there's no way that I'm going to hire you and you know where I want to go. And so I think, millennials have a high degree of value on this just idea of being able to be adaptable, being able to solve problems. When I think about some of my favorite employees, they're individuals who get really tough things thrown at them that I don't have the answers for. Travis doesn't have the answers for, but somehow you're going to figure it out. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
And we got to wrap because they need the room for the next podcast. And we could go all day.
I think we could.
And Chelsea would stay on and watch us all day.
She would.
She totally would.
So we'll stick some unavoidable truths in here at some point in time. Thank you guys for hopping in here, and we will catch you later.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.